Amid Western claims over Syria's chemical weapons, international inspectors say they are ready to send in observers if needed. Meanwhile, terrifying images of the civil war are captured and uploaded to YouTube almost every day. That's as both sides of the conflict accuse each other of atrocious crimes. For more on this, we are now joined by Ken Stone from the Hamilton Coalition to Stop the War. Mr. Stone, hello. Thank you very much for being with us. First of all, there is a huge number of videos online depicting the alleged crimes against humanity in Syria. Is it possible to verify any of these images?
The war crimes committed by the mercenaries hired by Hillary Clinton and funded by the Gulf monarchs are well documented and verified by Syrian state TV, Iranian state TV, and independent journalists. I don't think there's any doubt about their veracity. They do cause two problems for Hillary Clinton, however. One is a branding problem in that she can't have the people she's funding making these having this propensity to have themselves videotaped while committing war crimes and crimes against humanity. She can't sell it as a humanitarian intervention in North America. And so she had to try to rebrand the franchise in Doha the day after Obama's re-election. And even since then, she's had to throw out one group from the new franchise because they are supposedly too radical. The second problem she has is that the population in North America, especially in the United States, is really against the war. 78% of Americans were shown in a poll by Fox TV back in March to be opposed to any U.S. military intervention in Syria. And there were demonstrations across the United States and Canada in October against war. So these videos are certainly causing a problem for Hillary Clinton.
Well, talking about Hillary Clinton and the U.S. involvement, you mentioned the U.S. is against involvement in the war. Do you think that the use of chemical weapons in Syria would be that red line issue that would maybe gain popular support for the U.S. to go in?
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head. To me, it's this period right now, and the talk of weapons of mass destruction, chemical weapons in Syria, is very reminiscent of the run-up to the Anglo-American attack on Iraq in 2003. And this time, there is not going to be any encore presentation performance by Colin Powell at the UN with diagrams and drawings and satellite photos. In this instance, Obama and Hillary Clinton would like to go in with both guns blazing. They do not intend to provide us with any proofs, and what they do want to do is use the chemical weapons as a pretext for an intervention. One of those videos is caused a lot of consternation in the anti-war movement around here because it purported to show Syrian insurgents funded by the West preparing chemical weapons which were used on rabbits but could be used on Syrian civilians, and then blamed on the Syrian government. Well, I think. Go ahead.
Well, you mentioned these two videos in particular. The first apparently showing the victims of a chemical attack, and the second one that you just mentioned showing gas experiments on rabbits. Both are unverified. Could either of these be considered evidence of a threat of a real chemical attack?
Well, that's my point. The United States government, NATO, the Canadian government under Harper, they don't intend to provide any more proofs about alleged weapons of mass destruction in Syria than they did about any of the pretexts they used in about Viagra, African mercenaries, etc. in Libya, or ties to Al-Qaeda in Afghanistan. The purpose here is to create hysteria and to rush in Wild West style with both guns blazing and start an intervention. And by the time it's over and it's proved later that there weren't any, it was all false, the evil deed is already done.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate your thoughts on the subject. Certainly going to be interesting to see how this all plays out. Ken Stone from the Hamilton Coalition to Stop the War. Thanks for being with us.